Let's roll. Let's roll. Let's roll. I think you're a little ahead of me, E. Give me the heads up.
I've got when it's most critical, dollar bills, a heart to make an impact.
Yeah, give me a heads up when you're going back live.
Not yet, not yet. Matt Strom replaces Orion Kirkering. We can hear you, but we can't see you, folks in the chat. So it must not mute our mic when we have that thing up there. Bring us back live. Let's do this.
I mean, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We're sitting in the background. Might as well come and let you see the faces. I mean, let's do this. Appreciate you, Caroline. I always wondered. I've always muted us in the past, but that's one of those things that, we need to figure it out. So no music today for pathetic hitting. Optimistic John, it's a day where you don't get the timely hitting. The hitting's been there. We're actually out hitting the Phillies in this game 7-5, but you're down 5-1 due to the long ball. Yeah, you only have Will Benson that plays long ball, and he does it with the bases empty. That's where the lone run does come from the Reds, but we get their closer, or not their closer. We get Strem, their Matt Strem, their left-hander, second left-hander they've had come out of the bullpen. He's going to come up and face Jose Trevino. After Trevino, we're going to see Reese Hines, who got subbed out for TJ Friedel. So you go Trevino, Friedel, and then Benson. I would wonder if CES doesn't make an appearance at some point in time there as you're trying to come out of this thing. But, yeah, down 5-1. Might just be a day to give them off, but that would be 2 days off in a row of complete tardiness of CES. So we're going to see how this thing goes. But, if it does get back to the top, you do have Matty McLean, Santiago Espinal, and right-handed Ellie De La Cruz. That might give us an opportunity. So Jose having a tough day, leaving some runners in scoring position for sure. Team as a whole is 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So
yeah, the timely hitting has definitely gotten to us today,
and it's what happens. I mean, you put out a very good effort as a team. Nick Lodolo gives you the start that I've been looking for. He digs in and actually shows a little bit of opportunity there that, he looks like the guy that would be, could possibly lead a staff someday. And he succumbs to the long ball. I'm going to put the name out there and you'll see it again on the other half as we watch the ninth here. Will Little, home plate umpire, did us no favors. Right before the home run that he gave up Spencer Steer strikes out on a borderline call. Nick Lodolo doesn't get the same call later in the next half inning. That runner then leads to a walk. That walk scores as a run. There it goes. Matt McLean makes an error. Another home run happens from Suter to Schwarber. That makes it 5-1. There's 2 runs on the board there that shouldn't be there, whether it's our own fault shooting ourselves in the foot with the Matt McLean error or if it's Will Little behind the plate. Absolutely hosing the Cincinnati Reds today. I'm not sure which way you want to go there. But we do have an 0-2 count on Jose Trevino as Strom tries to come in and get things figured out here. He's got a 4-run lead to play with. We're going to have to get things figured out. But, it's not looking good for our Red Legs today, unfortunately. But I still like the effort. I like the 7 hits. If they get them more timely, they work with a couple of walks. You chase Ranger Suarez in 5 innings, and Nick Lodolo gives you 6 innings of 3-run baseball, but I feel like he pitched better than the line that he's going to leave. But we'll talk about that more on the other side as Trevino still sits 0-2, fouls off a couple balls here.
Pitch number 6, so at least he's seen some pitches, making him work.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's something I'm going to bring up on the other half here is we have taxed their bullpen by chasing Ranger Suarez an inning earlier. But there goes a ball out to short left. Shortstop takes it over, Trey Turner. Thought Trey gave us a gift, man. After Ellie reaches in the 8th, I thought Trey Turner's error was going to be the turning point in the game where you've got runners on first and second and nobody out, and then you hit into a double play, and that kind of ends the threat altogether. So you got 1 out. going towards the bottom of the night, or going down towards the bottom of the lineup here. You got a left-handed pitcher on the mound. TJ Friedel up at the plate. Doesn't get the start today. Kind of weird to see somebody other than TJ out in center field, because the one thing he has had going for him, his ability, has been his availability. And, he's hitting spurts, and he's played a decent center field up until the last couple of weeks. So, but seeing Will Benson out there, it's nice to know that you have that opportunity to give TJ a day off. And then really excited about, kind of what the lineup can be as we mix and match here to get everybody healthy through to the end of the season. If you are on live, share the stream. We appreciate everybody being in. We're going to talk about that lineup that was constructed today with Santiago Espinal returning to the 2-hole, a place that we cursed and hoped that it would never come back again. And once Matt McClain got up there, we thought we'd never see it again. But that turns its head again today as Matt McClain gets the leadoff spot. And I believe goes 0 for the day to this point, but he might get one more chance here if Benson can reach. So, oh, man. But TJ Friedel on with our last chance. We got 2 outs left. It's not over yet. Red Legs down 5-1. Oh, no one pitch goes away. It was a day where there wasn't a lot of overpowering, but just a lot of dinking and dunking, I felt like, around the strike zone from both Ranger Suarez and Nick Lodolo. A lot of breaking balls hitting on the outer half of the plate. And if you got the call, it made quick innings. If you didn't get calls, turned into the innings that created the runs. Santiago Espinal in the 2-hole was something I never wanted to see again, but he reaches base first 3 times today, and it's how can you argue with it? You know what I mean? The dude against left-handed pitching, the dude's contact. Now, I would make the case that he needs to be your leadoff batter from here on out, as the third baseman drops a ball in foul territory, maybe jams himself up a little bit. And so TJ Friedel gets another shot with a 1-2 count.
Come on, TJ, just get on base. We need base runners.
Yeah, that's all it takes, man. It takes a few. Come on. Corey T, it was kind of nice to be in town, drink some beers, watch a ball game with you, and then split up for this thing. We've had a good time today. Hopefully everybody's coming back. There's a sharp hit.
All right, TJ.
TJ coming into the ball game, getting himself a base hit. Like I said, he did not start the game, so we got a runner on. It'd be nice to cut this lead in half and get it to 5-3 here with one swing of the bat with Tyler Benson actually coming up to take place of Will Benson.
All right, TJ, get us started, get us rolling.
TJ's motioning to somebody telling him relax. That's awesome.
Going to the bench here to bring Tyler Stevenson to the plate.
Yeah, I like it. I was wondering when we see TJ, I was wondering when we see Tyler. I was wondering when we see Christian Encarnacion Strand today as well. Somebody that hasn't seen action in a couple of days. He got left-handed pitching out there, and I, really thought we'd have a chance there.
Speaking of which, I mean, it's all the left-handers out that we're facing, obviously, but we haven't seen Gavin Lux in 48 hours.
Yeah, no, it sucks. I mean, that's one of our best guys in terms of putting together a great at bat, and it sucks. Marte's done nothing. And John, I disagree there. I feel like with the glove, he made the air yesterday, but then he makes a miraculous play by picking a ball that he had no business getting to. And I think today, defensively, he's done pretty well. The big spot when Spencer Steer leads off with a double, and I think that's top of the 6th. He's got to get him over. He's got to start pushing the ball to right field. He's got to figure out a way and take some situational awareness and get him over. But I like Marte. He's coming back from it. Same way with Reese Hines. You look at his at-bats before this game. He's had 40 at-bats over 10 games. I'm going to give this guy time. He's got to have a longer leash than that in order to give us an opportunity. Tyler Stevenson quickly in an 0-2 hole. Gets himself a timeout. As they come back to the plate, he sees a ball down that I'm telling you what, Will Little rung somebody else up on that ball more than 3 innings ago.
Yep.
Will Little's done us no favors behind the plate. And I hate to harp on umpires, and pitch by pitch, it's really easy to pick and choose where you didn't succeed. But what Will Little did to Nick Lodolo's head when he didn't get the ring up of the K on the same pitch that he rung up Spencer Steer on, just with a left-handed batter at the plate versus a right-handed batter, put Nick Lodolo in a spin to the point that it leads to a walk, and that's a run that scores on the home run. And Lodolo's head's out there and things like that. You got to be mentally tougher than that, but at the same time, I hate the fact that an umpire had anything to do with this ball game today, but Will Little absolutely rung us up in a spot where we had a chance to score some runs and gave us a terrible call in terms of Nick Lodolo leading to an extra run that would have scored on the home run anyway.
It absolutely affects him mentally. I mean, you got to definitely be able to buckle down and come back. But
I mean, Nick Lodolo was great today.
I was glad to see him. Yeah, I was glad to see him buckle down and get us those last 2 outs to get us out of the inning after giving up the home run. And that was just an absolute dagger. But he was able to buckle down and at least get us out of that inning and keep us from using another bullpen pitcher after last night's stretch.
Yeah, and I thought, I mean, I was kind of, when you're down 3-1, I understand he's down in the dumps, but I would have liked to have seen the sacrificial lamb of Nick Lodolo in the 7th. At
2-2 on Ty Steve.
Yeah, here we got a runner on first base.
There we go.
Oh, another foul ball. He's
thought he had it.
We've already got their third left-hander of the game at 18 pitches, so hopefully this is something. Maybe we can cancel somebody out tomorrow, get to Zach Wheeler early, get him out of 5 innings, and really tax his bullpen and give us a chance.
Yeah, it's an uphill climb tomorrow.
Oh, God. Chase Burns, baby. Chase Burns, come on.
We need a bounce
ball game with Chase Burns tomorrow.
There goes Ty Steve on strike 3. Went down swinging.
2 outs. Yeah, it's what it is. It's what it is. I mean, I like the pinch hit opportunity there. I like, sitting Benson down, even though he does have the 1 home run against the left-handed pitcher today. Hopefully that gains him more opportunity later on. But in that spot right there, when you need base runners, you need something better for average against left-handed pitching. So that brings up Matt McClain, who's been an enormous disappointment today in the leadoff hole. He's had a couple opportunities with runners in scoring position, but still sits 0 for 4. Average back down to 208. He's starting to flirt with that Mendoza line in the wrong direction after climbing from the 170s up over 200, and you thought it was a thing of the past. Now sitting at 208, 635 OPS. He's got a strikeout on the day, and he starts his this at bat at 1-0, now 2-0. But we'd like to see McClain at least reach here. If you can get this thing to one swing of the bat, ties it up, it'd be awesome. But you got to get some dudes on in order to get this thing going. So
that's it. Just get on base. You pinch hitting for SB? No, not against a left-handed pitcher. Never mind. Probably not.
Against the lefty, unless you want Kristen Carlson and Strand to clear the bases for you.
Yeah.
But the way SB's hit left-handed pitching today, there's no way. I mean, it's the one thing he does well.
After I said that, I'm like, that was a stupid comment.
Does he play left field ever again? No. Santiago Espinal can't be your left fielder with this lineup. He can't be. If he's playing left field, you have the wrong lineup. I don't know why they're terrified to DH him, but they did it yesterday and forced him into second base and then put him in left field today. That's not your best defensive lineup. You can rearrange the deck chairs that you've got on the deck and make a better defensive lineup and still have Santiago Espinal hitting in the 2-hole as a DH. Like, he doesn't have to play defense to hit in the 2-hole.
Right.
There is that rule. So
Matty McClain pops one up. That's going to be your third out. Bringing the end of the game, Reds lose 5-1. Eric, let's do a show on the other side of this thing. What do you say?
Sounds good, man.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line to the right field. And it's the first Red ever with 4 home runs.
Welcome back into Chatterbox Reds, a weekend edition. It's the Phillips brothers coming to you live. Cory and Eric coming at you in your YouTube feed and your podcast feed tonight. Eric, kind of a struggle tonight, man. 5-1. Your Cincinnati Reds get beat by the Philadelphia Phillies on what was a good outing from our starter Nick Lodolo, but just a couple pitches got away from him there. The 2-run homer seemed like a dagger and kind of got away from us there on a night where we just couldn't push runs across the board when we needed to and get the timely hitting with runners in scoring position. And just a little bit of a struggle tonight, man. We after we've had a couple good outings against left-handed pitching, we weren't able to put across the runs tonight. But what are your overall thoughts on the ballpark tonight?
I mean, obviously, the Philadelphia Phillies still think we struggle against left-handed pitching. They do send 3 out, and all in all on the day, they send 2 relievers that are left-handed, and they send Ranger Suarez out there that only makes it 5 innings. I think the efforts put forward, you end up you actually out-hit a team 8-5 and still lose a game 1-0 or 5-1. But it was the long ball that did Nick Lodolo in. And once it was 3-1, it felt like it might have been 20-1 because it felt like the game was over at that point. But I think what the Reds did today was continued to show that they can put things together. You get a better hit, a more timely hitting with runners in scoring position. Team goes 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position today, leave 9 guys on the base paths altogether. That's not winning baseball. Matt McClain hitting in the leadoff spot is an experiment that I hope ends tomorrow and never happens again. You know, he's back down to hitting 208 on the season. And then that's not what you do. You go 0 for 5 there. He's one of the culprits of leaving runners in scoring position. He doesn't set the table in any way, shape, or form. He swings at the first pitch of the ball game when you're trying to chase a guy deep into a game in order to get to a bullpen that's already taxed after just 3 innings of work or 2 innings of work from the starter yesterday. The strategy today from Matt McClain in general in the leadoff spot makes absolutely no sense. He makes an error later in the game at second base. Matt McClain has to be a better player in order for this team to win ball games. And this game's not on him by any stretch of the imagination, but he's an enormous culprit as to why this team isn't going forward and why they can't win a game like today. You got a gutsy performance from Nick Lodolo. I absolutely challenged that man's manhood here on the last 2 outings that we've had. And I said, we need big starts from him. He gave us a big start. Yes, he gave up 2 home runs and that's 3 runs, but he should have been in this ball game in a better situation. Will Little did him no favors before the Kyle Schwarber home run that gave it, or was it Schwarber that got him? Alec Boehm actually got him. Schwarber got to Brent Suter later in the game. But Will Little did him no favors in the at-bat before where he ends up with a walk. That should have been a solo shot that he gives up to Boehm instead of a 2-run shot. But it is what it is. It's a game that plays out the way that it does. Yesterday, you get a bunch of hits and you string things together. You never play long ball and you get it figured out. Today, you do play long ball with Will Benson. It's a solo shot versus a multi-run shot like the Phillies were able to put together. Ends up being the difference in the game. They play long ball 3 times. You play long ball once, and that's the story of it all.
Yep, you're exactly right. It was a little bit of a head scratcher as far as the lineup's concerned. With what happened with Austin Hayes last night, not wanting to put him out in the outfield, I completely understand that. Giving him a day off of the knee when he came down a little bit funny, trying to make that play at the wall. So giving him a day off and not putting him in the outfield, I completely understand that, and trying to shake it up a little bit. But like you say, the Matt McClain experiment definitely did not work. The 0 for 5 did not work at all. I mean, hindsight being 2020, you probably put Espinal in the leadoff spot, but we scratch our heads when we see Espinal in the 2 spot. So we're definitely going to scratch our heads when we see him in the leadoff spot. So it was just kind of an odd day trying to get people days off and that sort of thing. But I'll be looking forward to seeing Gavin Lux and those guys back in the lineup tomorrow. But give us a little box score recap, man. Let the guys know what happened in the game today.
Yeah, so game 89 had the Reds coming into the game. They were plus 160 on the money line, so not a game they were favored to win by any means. The over-under was at 9 runs. Your Cincinnati Reds versus the Philadelphia Phillies, a 4.05 first pitch from Citizens Bank Park. Left-handed pitcher Ranger Suarez comes in with a 2.0 ERA versus left-handed pitcher Nick Lodolo with a 3.52 ERA. Phillies come into the game 51-37, first place in the NL East. Reds come in 46-42, fourth in the NL Central, or 7 games back of the Cubbies, and 1.5 games back in the National League wild card behind the San Diego Padres. In the top of the first, you get a Santiago Espinal walk, but a great play from Edmundo Sosa ends the first as he dives for a ball into shallow center field. That ends the threat. Bottom of the first, a Trey Turner double leads things off. Kyle Schwarber then flies out. You get a big Bryce Harper strikeout and an Alex Boehm walk. You've got runners on first and second with 2 outs for Nick Castellanos. Casti grounds out, ends the threat there. Top and bottom of the second both go up, 3 down. Nick Lodolo does record 3 strikeouts and strikes out the side in the bottom of the second. Top of the third, we go quietly again, 3 up and 3 down. And in the bottom of the third, Trey Turner reaches with a single, steals second base. Kyle Schwarber grounds out. They've got a runner on third with 2 outs, but that ends the threat there. They never do score. Top of the fourth, and Santiago Espinal leadoff single, and an Ellie deep fly ball that I thought had a chance. He just missed a curveball from the right-hand side that he put to the warning track about a step in front of the wall. Just a centimeter on the bat, and I think we've got ourselves a 2-0 ball game at that point. But instead, it stays 1-0. A Spencer Steer looking strikeout on a terrible call from home plate umpire Will Little rings him up there, and then a Trevino grounds out, ends the threat. In the top of the fifth, we do answer back though, or we do get things going with a Will Benson left on left, massive tank job to right field, and it makes it 1-0 in favor of the Cincinnati Reds. In the bottom of the fifth, Edmundo Sosa hits a 93-mile-an-hour fastball to opposite field off of Nick Lodolo, tying the game up, so our lead was short-lived. It felt like that was the momentum grabber as well, where Will Benson gives you that opportunity to step ahead. Edmundo Sosa comes right back and gives him that 1-1 tie, and we're right back into the dogfight that we'd been in all day. Top of the sixth, Ranger Suarez exits. Huge move for the Cincinnati Reds, as chasing a quality left-handed starter is what you're after. He goes 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Right-handed pitcher Jordan Romano, don't call him Romano, comes in. Spencer Steer gets a leadoff double, and then Marte and Trevino hit ground balls that aren't able to move him over. And TJ Friedel flies out to end the threat. You feel like you wasted an opportunity there. A couple of big at-bats with runners in scoring position and not able to get the job done, but it's still a 1-1 game. In the bottom of the sixth, Schwarber is in a 2-1 count and has a pitch that's thrown on the inside part of the plate that is the same pitch, even closer to the strike zone than what Spencer Steer was rung up on. They call it a 3-1 ball instead of a 2-2 strike, and that leads to a walk. Very next pitch, Alec Baum hits a 2-run home run, making it 3-1 Phillies. Rattled Lodolo has to be able to settle in there, but that's not his fault in the case of the Schwarber. Schwarber should have never been on first base. Home plate umpire Will Little did him no favors by allowing that sequence to take place. It was a strike. It was absolutely a strike. It had been a strike all day, but for some reason to Kyle Schwarber it wasn't, and the game moves on. Top of the seventh, the Reds go quietly. In the bottom of the seventh, Nick Lodolo is done. His day ends with 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. An absolutely phenomenal performance from Nick Lodolo outside of the 2 pitches that leave the yard. I can't stress it enough how well Nick Lodolo threw today. It was a different Nick Lodolo. It was a competitive Nick Lodolo that I absolutely love to see, and that's a dude that can contribute and win this team ball games down the stretch, and we're going to need him. If that Nick Lodolo comes out and gives us those performances against teams that aren't the Philadelphia Phillies, I think we win more ball games than we lose, and that's ultimately what we're after. But in the bottom of the seventh, Graham Ashcraft comes in, has an amazing return to the lineup. Doug comes in and gets 3 up and 3 down. He looks dominant. Everything's moving. He's got a cutter that Cowboy gushed over that reaches the backside of the plate and gets a couple of backdoor strikes that way. But absolutely love what we see from Nick Lodolo, or from Graham Ashcraft after Nick Lodolo leaves. But we leave the bottom of the seventh, and it's still 3-1 Phillies. In the bottom of the eighth, the Reds have an opportunity here. And the top of the eighth, the Reds have an opportunity after an Ellie De La Cruz single, which gives Ellie back-to-back games with hits from both the right side and the left side, and then a Trey Turner bobble of who's hitting fourth for us today? Austin Hayes ball to shortstop. We have runners on first and second and nobody out. But that follows up with a Spencer Steer double play and a Noelvi Marte fly out, and that ends the threat, and it feels like the end of the game right there. Bottom of the eighth, an error by Matt McClain, as we mentioned earlier, leads to a 2-run home run by Kyle Schwarber off of Brent Suter. Should be noted, this is probably the highest leverage situation we've ever put Brent Suter in to this point in a 3-1 ball game, and you're asking him to hold in the bottom of the eighth. He comes in, gets the air, then promptly gives up the home run, makes it 5-1 Phillies, and the game is all but over. Left-handed pitcher, the third one of the day for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Matt Strahm comes in, closes out the game after a TJ Friedel single. Your Cincinnati Reds lose this one 5-1 to the Philadelphia Phillies, dropping us to 46-43 on the season and moving the Phillies to 52-37. That's your box score recap. Corey T, what do you got to say?
I was definitely one. I was real excited when Will Benson smashed that home run. We scored the first run of the game. We've got our odds are pretty good in our favor when we score the first run of the game, and just kind of got away from us from there. There's a couple pitches that got away from Lodolo. really was a dagger. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Lodolo. His line looks a lot worse than what he actually pitched. He pitched a really good ball game, but it was good to see Graham Ashcraft come out. I think it was a 10-pitch inning, just come in and absolutely shut the door. So it's nice to have him back in the bullpen. We only use a couple pitchers out of the bullpen, so we've got fresh arms for tomorrow. We taxed their bullpen again. They used 5 last night. They used 4 tonight. So it's setting up good for tomorrow. We just got to get it done tomorrow. It's going to be an uphill battle against Zach Wheeler, obviously, but we've got to go get the series win and bring it back home for a good homestand before the All-Star break. But after Will Benson after Will Benson hits the home run and then they come back and hit that 2-run dagger, I was definitely feeling a little down on myself. And we always want to remind you guys that if you're ever feeling down, you can always call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide Crisis Hotline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. 988 is 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, and I think today's. I mean, you want to look at the ball game and wonder what stat means the most. It's the fact that your team is 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. You get the 1 home run by Benson. That's the run that you get. You do collect 8 hits. None of them are timely. Everything is a leadoff. Everything is whatever facet they come in. When we go down the lineup, the 0 for 5 from Matt McClain in the leadoff spot as he hits 208 on the season. Santiago Espinal does go 2 for 3 with a walk, but does not score a run. Ellie De La Cruz goes 2 for 4, doesn't score a run. Austin Hayes goes 1 for 4. Spencer Steer 1 for 4. Noelvi Marte 0 for 3. Jose Trevino 0 for 4. Reese Hines 0 for 2. TJ Friedel 1 for 2. Will Benson 1 for 3 with a home run and the only run scored today. Tyler Stevenson with a big 0 for 1 as he came up with runners in scoring position as well. You leave 9 guys on base. 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position is not going to get it done. And in 162 games, that's going to happen. This is game 89. After a day yesterday where you string together the hits all in one inning, these things seemed more spread out. You put pressure on the base paths, which is awesome. We didn't see a lot of opportunities in terms of stealing. I thought that as Santiago Espinal needs to score from first base. If you're going to hit in the 2-hole on this team, you've got to score from second base. You got to score from first base on a double that reaches deep into the corner when Austin Hayes gives you the opportunity.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think some of that's on JR House to send in there, or
no? It's on Santiago Espinal being slow as hell.
Being hustle. That's all it is. I think it's more of a hustle thing.
Yeah. No, it's not hustle. He could hustle and still just be out by a million miles.
Okay.
You just can't hit at that spot in the order and be that slow. If you're setting the table, but the table isn't good, you know what I mean? Like the whole point of being a 2-hole hitter is to set the table for Ellie De La Cruz to get extra base hits. And when Austin Hayes finally delivers, you don't have the foot speed to get there. Like it's awful.
Just not having the ability. Okay.
The game starts with a single to left field that turns into a double because of slow foot speed from Santiago Espinal on top of a 25% and underarm. Like Santiago Espinal playing left field is a joke. Like if he was the DH hitting 7th today, I'm happy. Him hitting in the 2-hole and playing left field tells me we don't have enough talent on this roster. And that's crap because you showed me you do yesterday. Christian Encarnacion Strand sits on the bench. Tyler Stevenson sits on the bench so that Santiago Espinal can play left field instead of Austin Hayes, instead of Spencer Steer. That's not good for me. That's not where this team is at its best. Santiago Espinal has to be in the lineup against left-handed pitching. I'm all for that. Dude goes 2 for 3 today, has a walk, he reaches base. He's the offensive MVP of this game outside of the Will Benson blast. But for him to set the table, he's that contact guy that you need with runners in scoring position, not the first dude on so that Ellie and those guys get extra base hits and he gets stuck at third because he can't run. Like that's a terrible opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, not having the ability is one thing, but trying to overstretch your ability and getting thrown out at the plate is, a completely different story. So I would almost rather him eat it there because there was less than 2 outs, I believe, when he got to third base. So you're still giving opportunity for somebody else in the lineup to pick yourself up. But I'm not going to put it all on Santiago Espinal. He was more of a highlight than he was a hindrance as far as the offensive side of the ball is concerned. Yeah. But it's one of those deals where you're right. We need a little bit more. We need a little bit better ability. And I think if Austin Hayes doesn't have that weird play at the wall last night where he comes up clutching his right knee, we do see Austin Hayes in left field today, and it does look like a lot better lineup. And so it's hard for me to be too upset about it. I would rather see Santiago Espinal in left field than Spencer Steer. Yeah, if that's our other option, the arm's just not there for Spencer Steer, and I just don't trust it, man. So as far as wanting to give Austin Hayes a day off and having the weird lineup, I completely understand where you're coming from. And if you need to put Santiago Espinal on the DH hole to keep him in the lineup against left-handed pitching, I'm not against it at all. But by the same token, I don't know. It's just one of those. He tried to shake it up and hopefully it works, and it just didn't work.
Well, and it's tough because you've got Santiago Espinal, and it's not his fault. His on-base plus slugging is 589. He's under 600 in OPS. Like, the dude doesn't hit extra base hits. It just doesn't happen. And so to hit in the 2-hole, like, it's weird to call him a designated hitter when he doesn't slug and he doesn't hit for extra base hits. But that contact guy is who you set the table for. So that way, when that timely hit is needed, instead of going 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, you go 1 for 8, and you probably lose this game 5-2 if we're being honest. But to put him as the protector to Elly De La Cruz doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Put him behind Austin Hayes and absolutely set the table for somebody else. Like, that's right. Somebody with some foot speed has to be able to reach and then get around. TJ Friedl is a great opportunity or great situation of that. Today, TJ Friedl needed a break. A tough left-handed pitcher is the right day to do it. He still comes in, plays 3 innings, and has 2 at-bats. So I don't know how much of a rest he really gets, but it's one of those things that it's not Santiago Espinal's fault. But to be in the 2-hole, you have to be able to run at least a little bit. So that way that Austin Hayes extra base hit, which is what you expect him to do by batting him 4th, doesn't lead to runners on 2nd, 3rd, and not scoring any runs.
Right.
I see where you're coming from. Opportunity. That's a big missed opportunity.
I completely see where you're coming from. Well, let's get into our DSC deep drive of the day while I'm sitting here looking at it, man. We had the 1 run today from Will Benson. His solo shot in the top of the 5th is going to be your DSC deep drive of the day. 103.2 miles an hour off the bat, a 403-foot bomb, 29-degree launch angle. Had me jump out of my seat and had us screaming while we were watching the game with Dad. So that was a lot of fun. But your DSC deep drive of the day is always sponsored by, obviously, Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thanks as always to our friends at DSC.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in the chat that we're talking about the same guy that couldn't run from 1st to 3rd on a ball that was deep. This isn't just a routine double that, maybe he cuts off and backhands. So this is a ball that reaches the wall, kicks back to the left fielder that he didn't score from 1st on in a deeper ballpark that I think is 330 plus down the left field line, if I'm not mistaken. This is the same guy that comes up and then tries to surprise bunt single with 2 outs late in the game when you need base runners after he's gone 2 for 3 earlier in the ball game. He didn't almost beat that out. Like that, he was out by 2 steps. Like the fact that he's butting there, I understand what he's trying to do. The ball gets hit too hard. He makes an effort play. Like, that's what it is. But you can't surprise bunt single and not score from 1st in the same game. You're either fast or you're not. Like, if TJ Friedl goes from the right side or goes from the left side and has, a step and a half towards first base, that surprise bunt there, I'd say TJ Friedel's probably a little faster when it comes to foot speed. I think we can look at some metrics that would prove that point. But Santiago Espinal not scoring from 1st on a double that's absolutely roped into the corner it's not the difference in the game. It's 5-2 versus 5-1, if we're being honest. But it just one more thing that Tito's doing that, and when constructing this lineup, he's afraid to put a guy that doesn't slug in the DH role instead of playing his best defensive lineup and putting a guy with slower foot speed back in a spot where he can be more creditable to the lineup and set the table for him rather than vice versa. It's a conundrum. Santiago Espinal, I hope people don't hear me wrong. Santiago Espinal has a spot on this team. Absolutely. He's one of the best. I am with Tito in terms of he's one of the best situational hitters that we have. He's one of the best contact guys we have. Situationally, I'm still the vote's still out there, but contact wise, there's nobody I want up there more. Now, if the contact is a ground ball to third base, that's what you'd say. That's the come and go of it. But Santiago Espinal should have played today. I don't know that playing in the 2-hole was the right spot for him, and that's not on Santiago. That's on Terry Francona. And it bit you in the butt today. You go 0 for 8. I don't want this show to be a negative thing because I think this team is still very good. This is a better performance versus left-handed pitching than what we put out in years past. And so getting 8 hits, chasing Ranger Suarez in 5 innings, you see 2 more left-handed relievers coming in. It is what it is, man. Like it's game 89 of 162. You're still 3 games above 500. You got a chance to take a series tomorrow in a game that's not exactly in your favor, but we're going to take care of business. Give me Chase Burns. I'm putting heavy on the money line tomorrow.
Hey, let's do it. We need a Chase Burns bounce back game. It would be nice to see him do something other than what happened in the monstrosity in Boston. So let's have a bounce back game. We're going to be an uphill battle against Zach Wheeler. We're going to face one of the best right-handed pitchers in the National League, if not all of baseball. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but hopefully Ellie can stay hot. I mean, Ellie's getting hits from both sides of the plate on a regular basis. Did it again tonight. Did it again. I mean, he after doing it last night. So if we can keep Ellie staying hot right there in the middle, we'll get this lineup constructed right. Get Austin Hayes back out in left field. We'll feel a lot better about it tomorrow. This is definitely one of those punch in the guts because you want to win it and have the ability to take the sweep into Sunday, but just got away from us today, man. And it was absolutely one of those days. I mean, I wasn't as mad about the Santiago Espinal trying to bunt, just trying to make a play and get something on. He made the third baseman make a great play, obviously. And if you get we were a bloop and a blast away from tying the game up at that point, so it was 3-1. So I'm not completely against it, but like you say, if you can't show your speed on the base paths earlier in the game, how are you going to show up from first to third or down to first base? But he's a hustler. He's just trying to make a play. He's a ball player.
He's a team guy.
He most definitely has a spot on this team. We're not where we're at without Santiago Espinal. There's no other way around it. So we're going to need the glue, but the glue just didn't come together today. One of our biggest glue spots, Matt McClain, when he struggles with the glove and struggles at the plate, we're going to have a hard time overcoming that. So we'll shake it off. Let's shake it off. Get right tomorrow and go from there. We don't really have much else of a choice, really.
No, and that's just it. And the reason why you bag so hard on Espinal is because we've seen it time and time again. Like, we've had the opportunity to run the string, and one of that dude's best abilities, availability. Marte's not been available. Matt McClain's not been available. Like, we're still giving these guys a little bit of a leash because we've not seen the string run out. The string's running out on Matt McClain. Hitting 208, making errors in the field. I mean, I think that's the third one this week, if I'm not mistaken. Like, and he had a day off yesterday. Santiago Espinal plays second base, also commits an error at second base. Maybe it's something about playing second base instead of a bank park. I don't know. But it's one of those. Matt McClain has to be a better baseball player than what he's been here recently. He goes on a 1-week hot streak, and then he rests. I say rests on his laurels. Listen, I'm saying this literally from my mother's living room. So, but when we talk about what these guys are doing, they get hot and then they come back. The bottom of what Matt McClain is as a Cincinnati Red can't be this bad. Like, his floor has to raise up in order for this team to get to where they need to go. Does he need to be 2023 Matt McClain? No. He has to be somewhere in between the worst Matt McClain that we've seen this season and the best Matt McClain that we've seen this season. But it was too far. He comes closer to the bottom than he does to the top. And a day like today where he goes 0 for 5 and commits an error at second base that then leads to a 2-run bomb instead of a solo shot. You know what I mean? Like, you're a base runner away in the bottom of the ninth from being one swing of the bat from tying it up. But instead, Matt McClain makes an error, and that's what leads to a 5-1 game, and this thing feels out of reach. You've got Ellie coming up in the pop there. You've got Matt, who's got some pop coming up in the bottom there. Like, there's opportunities there where you see the game break out, but little mistakes here and there. The Nick Lodolo not digging in and having an opportunity to come back against Alec Boehm and after he walks Schwarber because of a terrible call from Will Little. I'm more likely to forgive that than I am I think it's 13 errors on the season on Matt McClain. Like, it's inexcusable. You're a second baseman. You're there to play defense. The same reason why I got so mad at Santiago Espinal yesterday. It's in a winning effort, and so it kind of gets forgotten. But the only reason you're here is for your glove, and he makes his third error of the season. 3 is a hell of a lot better than 9.
Number 3.
Yeah, it's rough. And Jose Trevino instead of Tyler Stevenson today, that's another lineup issue. Does Nick Lodolo need Jose Trevino? Does Tyler Stevenson need to be the DH over somebody else? That's what I'm getting at. Like, that's the construction of what's your best offensive and defensive combined rather than going all one way or the other. Today felt like a day where they went all offensive and tried to get it going, but you leave Tyler Stevenson out. CES still doesn't see the lineup. If you're carrying a hurt guy as your 26th man, like, is that really worth it? Now, I don't know who they would bring up outside of him other than maybe Velotti, but it's one step forward, one step back. Tomorrow's going to prove, can Chase Burns give us a good outing? If you lose the ball game tomorrow, I'm not as upset as I would have been if you didn't win yesterday. Like we're not trying to avoid a sweep. But if Chase Burns can somehow upset Zach Wheeler, it's the biggest win of the season.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that springboards us into our homestand right before the All-Star break, and we're going to hit the ground running. But it's an uphill battle tomorrow. Zach Wheeler is no joke. I was looking just reading through some of his numbers. He's 2-2 with a 2.61 ERA and 8 career starts versus the Reds. 2024, he was 1-1 with an 0.75 ERA and 2 starts. So it's not doesn't bode well as far as the history is concerned. But we've got to get over this hump. I feel like we're a better baseball team. Let's get our best defense forward and springboard from there, because that's all the only option we've got.
And you want to go ahead and just give us a full rundown of tomorrow, and then we'll try to get into this thing.
Tomorrow's matchup is a 1:35 start. It will be Chase Burns versus Zach Wheeler. Chase Burns is carrying in a 13.50 ERA, so we'll just look past that and go back to that first start against the Yankees where he struck out the first 5 he saw. But Chase Burns versus Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's got a 2.27 ERA on the year. Just ran through some of his numbers against his lifetime. Let me look through here and see what else we've got. Active Reds versus Wheeler. We are 14 for 54. That's a 259 batting average. Gavin Lux is 4 for 9. Espinal's 2 for 8. Austin Hayes is 2 for 6. Will Benson and CES are both 1 for 6. And Ellie is 1 for 5. So hopefully we can get on him early and get on him often and not look back. Got the one run from Will Benson today, and I really felt good about it. Once we score the first run, we've got a pretty good odds. But let's get on him often and not look back and bring it back home for a home stretch. Who we got coming in? The Marlins and the Rockies. So let's get a big one against the Phillies. Come home and put it on the Rockies and the Marlins. Take us a little break and get going. What do you say?
No, I dig it. And I think Chase Burns has an opportunity. If he can give you 5 innings tomorrow and he leaves the game tied, it's a game you need to win. You know what I mean? You need to get to Zach Wheeler early. I think there's, run the pitch count up. Don't be swinging at first pitch stuff and, make him deliver some strikes and run that pitch count up a little bit. I think if you can get him to 80, 90 pitches by the 5th, 6th inning, I think that bodes well for you. This is a bullpen that's, beginning to get taxed a little bit. You only get 2 innings from your starter yesterday. You get 5 today. So you've had a bullpen that's had to throw, was that 7 and 4? My Cambridge, Ohio math tells me that's 11 innings.
There we go.
The last 2 days. Yeah. And so I want to see that come to fruition in game 3. Like tomorrow's when you feast on that opportunity. They throw 2 of their left-handers out of the bullpen today. And Strom and I'm the other guy's name is escaping me, but I seeing a lot of pitches from Strom there in the 9th, kind of gives me a little bit of hope too. You made him throw, I think, 24 pitches total after the TJ Friedl single. So even in a losing effort and you only have one guy reach base, I love the fact that we put their bullpen in a little bit of a conundrum where hopefully we get the chance to kind of capitalize on that tomorrow if you can get to Zach Wheeler early. A right-hander on the mound. Will Benson's hitting in a better spot. Left-handed Ellie's better. Give me Gavin Lux back in the 2 hole. Give me TJ Friedl in the leadoff spot. Give me Austin Hayes in that 4 spot. Hopefully able to match Zach Wheeler. I think he said he was 2 for 6. I love where the team could be tomorrow from a left-handed standpoint or from a right-handed pitching standpoint. And I think there is a legitimate shot that Chase Burns comes back out tomorrow as long as he figures out how he was tipping his pitches. I know the leg lift on the slider versus the leg lift on the fastball kind of gave the Boston Red Sox an opportunity to tee off. If he gets that figured out and he can come out and absolutely deal, my fear tomorrow is that Chase Burns gets a little wild, and that's not something that he's shown through the minor leagues. But that leg lift and the timing of where the release point and things like that are, it kind of scares me tomorrow as he tries to fix that from the last start to this one, and just trying to, as a rookie, you're going to go through your trials and tribulations, but knowing that it was something so obvious that was called out by not just the Boston Red Sox as they talk player to player, but by video review staff. MLB Network called it out. There, everybody saw that you were tipping pitches, and to see how he responds is going to be really important to me tomorrow. And he's got to show a little bit of fight and effort because the Reds needed him to go at least 5 innings.
Yeah, it's a big spot. It's a big spot for a young guy. He's going to have a bounce back. I mean, he was definitely riding the high coming off of not domination of the Yankees lineup, but looking good against the Yankees lineup, and then comes out and has an absolutely atrocious start. So it'll be good to see what kind of mental fortitude the young man's got, but I'm looking forward to a good start. I really like Chase Burns. I like what he brings. He's got a lot of life on his fastball, a lot of good pitches. So I'm going to stay on the optimistic side with my guy. He's going to show up, Zach Wheeler, tomorrow, and they're going to be talking a win tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on your Chatterbox Reds channel. So
Yeah, no, when Nick and Trace are able to return tomorrow, hopefully you've got a situation where there are guys that, we talk about playing lottery tickets in the lineup on a day in and day out basis. And it seemed like Will Benson was one of those. He's kind of settled in to be a consistent guy over the last 10 games or so. But Rhys Hines, I think when you look at his at bats, I mean, he's hitting 120s and he's got 50 or he's got 45 at bats now. Like the lottery ticket of Rhys Hines has to come up a winner at some point in time. Otherwise, he's wasting a roster spot. And there's some contact guys down at AAA. You beg the question: is Connor Joe or Ryan Velotti a better option than Rhys Hines hitting 120? Now, Rhys can change the game in one swing of the bat, where Connor Joe and Velotti probably aren't going to do that. But you never know. But you continue to cycle those guys until the lottery ticket turns up in your favor. But yeah, it's. There's some guys that are due. Tyler Stevenson needs to start hitting. Matt McClain has to now get off the schneid because he's absolutely killing this team by hitting leadoff and going 0 for 5 and making errors in the field. Matt McClain is the worst player the Reds put out on the field today, and it's not close. Like by going 0 for 5 and struggling with runners in scoring position like he did, creating the error that leads to a run later in the game, that's inexcusable. We have to have better second base play. Santiago Espinal is there ready to make contact and play a decent defensive second base. So if Matt McClain's the one that needs to sit, whatever it is, we need to start taking care of business here. And I'm excited to see Tito lead the ship and make these lineups, even though today there's a couple of things that you second guess, but hindsight's always 20/20. It's very easy to do post-mortem.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hindsight being 20/20, you put Santiago Espinal on the leadoff spot and go from there. But I mean, if Matt McClain goes 0 for 5 behind it, what's it really do for you as far as that's concerned? So it was a shakeup today. Hopefully Austin Hayes stays healthy. Hopefully his knee's right. We'll put him back out in the outfield. We'll mash the ball tomorrow. I'm really excited to see Gavin Lux back in the lineup. He gives us a professional at bat every time he comes to the plate. So let's make Zach Wheeler work a little bit. We're sweating the 1 o'clock heat. So put him to work. Jump on him, get on it, and get this bad taste out of our mouth, man. It was a little bit of a sour taste today, and I don't like it too much.
No, and it sucks because you out hit him, and Nick Lodolo gives you a good performance. You feel like you feel better coming out of this thing, but the lineup kind of shows its head of what it can be when dudes aren't producing, and when Matt McClain, Rhys Hines, and Jose Trevino aren't producing, you're left to wonder. And that's the beauty of a 26-man roster that we talked about being so deep yesterday. When there are other options like Christian Encarnacion Strand, Gavin Lux, and TJ Friedel that don't see the lineup today, that gives you that opportunity to question what was put out there. And it puts the feet to the fire. And we've talked about iron sharpening iron from guys coming from AAA or getting healthy or whatever it was. Now that all 26 guys are here, outside of Jake Fraley, maybe for Rhys Hines, now that all 26 guys are here, a day in and day out questioning of how the lineup was constructed when things don't work out is to be expected. We are just a vocal Twitter that we have I've got a microphone, you've got a microphone, and we get a chance to say it instead of typing it out in 140 characters or less. Like that's who we are. We're Reds fans through and through. We're not the statistical analysis guys. I'm not the baseball writers of America by any shape or form. So what we come on here and say is what we feel in our gut and what we saw during the game as we sat there and watched it over a few beers. It was a lot of fun. Still enjoy getting together and watching our Red Legs. This is a very exciting team. They're appointment television. I'm looking forward to tuning in tomorrow. Hopefully we can get something and pull a rabbit out of our hat. And if Chase Burns beats Zach Wheeler and you took it to the bank and on DraftKings or FanDuel or whoever it is that you're betting with, you heard it here first. Chase Burns getting the W today or getting the W tomorrow, and I'm feeling really good about it.
Yeah, there it is. You heard it here first. We're going to talk it into existence. We're going for the series win tomorrow and bringing it back home. So heck with today's game. Today's game's over. We're done being mad about it. Let's put our optimistic hats back on and bring it to the ballpark tomorrow, and let's talk about a win tomorrow evening.
Yep, and if you lost one of your fingers last night, I hope you can still hold up the number 4 because we're getting back to that many games above 500 tomorrow before we go into this 7-game series against Colorado and Miami, where we have a chance to do some damage, get 5-2, and get into the All-Star break 7 games above 500. But that's all for us. We're the Phillips brothers. We enjoy being here every Friday and Saturday. I know the last couple of days over holiday weekend, our viewership's still been up there, and so we appreciate every single one of you, whether you're in the chat or you're listening to us on podcast. Please like and share, and subscribe wherever you are, so that you get the alerts of when the new shows come out. Nick and Trace, I believe, are back tomorrow night at 9:00, and so I'll be really excited to see what they feel about this Philadelphia series after Chase Burns goes out and outduels Zach Wheeler, and we get a chance to stick it to somebody that's in the Cy Young race. So we appreciate you guys coming live from Cambridge, Ohio. Corey T, you want to take us home?
As always, go Reds.